The subject of facial hair can be quite controversial, but it seems the recent popularity of beards may be about to pass its peak. That's not the view of fashion stylists, but of evolutionary biologists.
Yes, Australian scientists have found that as facial hair grows more common, it becomes less attractive. Our science reporter James Morgan, who has a beard himself, has been finding out more.
A wave of beards has swept across the manly chins of Britain. But according to a study published today, these hairy humans could be doomed by evolution. Scientists have found that the more beards there are, the less attractive they become. And that's because in evolution, traits which are rare or novel, such as clean-shavenness in this area of London, can become sexually attractive to potential mates. To see if the tide is really turning, we came to Shoreditch in East London, home of the hirsute hipster, to ask the female of the species.
Does the amount of beards need to go? It just seems like it's trending.
It's a bit like tattoos. There's too many, they become common.
Yeah.
So I'm not a really big fan of beards, so I just feel like it's hiding the face. So I'm always like, when the guy is going to shave, is he going to be ugly or not? Like, I had suspense.
But what does evolution have in store for artisan beard groomers like these? Could they become an endangered species?
I get clients now whose girlfriends actively want them to have beards, so it's definitely a key change, but I can't help but think it might just be at the peak at the moment, so maybe we'll see a bit of a decline.
If the scientists are right, gents barbers like this are going to go out of business. But judging by the number of bushy bristles around here, the peak beard era of fashion isn't going to go away anytime soon. I don't want to lose my beard. James Morgan, BBC News.
You can keep it, James, it's all right. Joining us now, life coach Rasheed Ogunlaru, and from Australia, one of the authors of the report, Rob Brooks. Rob, thanks very much for joining us. I know you're a very different time of day, so we appreciate you taking the time to talk to us. Tell us about the phases of popularity then of beards and how they come in and go out of fashion. I mean, what sort of time scale are we talking about?
Well, the current beard fashion's really been swelling for about 10 years. The New York Times was calling it a trend back in '96. So, and whether or not it started in Manhattan, who can tell, but that's what the New York Times seems to think. So we're looking at a 10-year trend. Big trends in facial hair tend to go slowly through a cycle that often lasts about 30 years. But nowadays, with the internet, information passes so much more quickly, and so it'll be interesting to see if cultural change is quicker than it has been in the past with previous fashions.
We're just seeing some pictures of various celebrities sporting various different amounts of facial hair. Just give us an idea here. So it seems from what you've found that the way we see people as attractive changes with fashion and changes because of the amount of people that look a certain way.
Well, absolutely. I mean, this is one of the dynamics. Obviously, fashions are complicated things, and they take, they're as complicated as financial markets sometimes. But one of the interesting dynamics is something that comes out of evolutionary genetics, which we call negative frequency dependence. And all that really means is that things that are rare enjoy a currency, and they are more attractive when they're rare than if those same things were common. So when clean-shavenness is rare, it is more attractive than clean-shavenness is when it is common.
Okay.
And so there's a little boost you get when things are rare, and of course when it gets too common, people start discriminating against it, just like the women in James's little segment there.
All right, but Rasheed, does that help to explain why you no longer have your goatee?
A little bit. I mean, it's interesting. You'll see from the film there that so many different people have different views about beards. Some people like it, some people don't like it, and of course people grow their beards for all sorts of different reasons. And for guys, actually it's one of the few ways that they can change often how they feel, or they might be wanting to go for a new phase of life. So there's quite a lot of dimensions to this thing about beards. It's not just to have a beard or not to have a beard.
I'm interested why you chose to grow a goatee and then why you choose not to have it. So was there the whole sort of process going on?
There was. I think at one point I wanted to be more distinguished. And I wanted at certain points to look a little bit older, and then I wanted to look a little bit younger and a little bit more, just freer and so on. So, sometimes people grow their beards on a whim, or that they're just wanting a change or what have you, or that they're wanting to look older. You see it a lot, for example, in adolescence, where people want to grow the beard so they have a sense of manliness or more maturity.
Yeah. Is there... certain professions, though, don't suit beards. So, for instance, in the old days in the Navy, you were expected to to have a beard. Sometimes for religious reasons you're expected to have a beard, but you wouldn't somehow feel entirely comfortable seeing your bank manager with a beard.
That's right. We're funny about that, isn't it? We're happy for perhaps like pop stars and so on, people in some, barbers or what have you, but we're not so happy in some professions. So, for example, in the city, you're going to see far fewer beards than you are going to see in some other sectors. So it's very interesting. We have got very, very mixed views about them, and often also it's not just the beard; it's the length of the beard. If it's well kept, for example, we like it. As soon as it becomes dishevelled, we have completely different views about what a beard means to us and whether we like them or not.
Rob, do men and women view beards differently? Do they have different kind of views on it?
They seem to view them subtly differently. In the experiments that we do, they tend to tune into slightly different aspects of the beard. Women definitely discriminate, as Rasheed said, against the unkempt big full beard. And what the optimum really is a 10-day growth. If you're good at growing a beard, then 10 days of growth, well trimmed, seems to be currently the height of fashion and the thing that's most attractive in our studies. Whereas the full beard kind of impresses other men sometimes, and that's because beards, in signalling terms, they signal a lot of things, including something to females, but they're also signalling to other men. A lot of very male professions or groups, professional sports teams, etc., will grow beards as a bonding exercise or in a way of sort of measuring up against each other.
And Rob, have you ever been tempted to grow one?
I have been. I spent last December and January in Italy travelling around and skiing, and my efforts I didn't think came to anything impressive, and so I got rid of it before I returned to work.
I know that feeling. Rob, thanks very much. Rob Brooks in Australia.
Will you grow another one, Rasheed, or is that over for you, do you think?
Probably when I'm at that next stage of evolution.
Okay.
Right, when you want to look older again.
Absolutely.
All right. Thanks very much.
Oh, thank you very much. Lovely to see you. Thank you very much. At 26.